Welcome to Payrock Wyoming Spotlight on Casper businesses and nonprofits, where we try to shine the light on incredible people that make our community thrive. Today we have Jeff Zenisek, JZ for the Inner Circle. Jeff is a man of many talents. He runs a successful management firm with Edward Jones. He has a small oil and gas company. But today we're going to get it started with talking about his nonprofit work with homeless youth. It's a nonprofit that runs the Monte Carlo Nights that many of us have heard of. The purpose of Monte Carlo Nights is to alleviate homelessness in our youth population here in Casper. Thank you for joining us, JZ.
Appreciate you having me.
So let's start talking about Monte Carlo Nights. So what are the Monte Carlo Nights, and how long have they been going for? Because apparently this is not the first year that you've done this.
Right. It's year 4, actually, which isn't very long. The 10-year hasn't been going very long, but for a nonprofit and an event, it has been something that has grown exponentially year over year. We doubled, and tripled. What we did, well, I guess we didn't double the first year. We did way more than we thought we would. We were hoping to raise 1,000. We raised 16 the first year, but then it doubled the next year. And last year we hit about 98,000 total revenue raised. Missed that 100,000 by $2,000, but
all right,
really good year. And this year we've already surpassed 83,000, and hopefully we're going to hit that 100,000, if not more.
Well, if you miss it by $2,000, I guess that's less of a big deal when the $2,000 is close to $100,000. It's less when you put it into perspective. You're raising a lot of funds.
Miss it by that close.
So how did this all come about? How did you think of it? You're the brainchild of Monte Carlo Nights, and how did you think of this thing?
It was actually a buddy and I, Brett Sedestein, who helps me run it. He and I were just sitting during COVID, and it was, if you were part of that, especially in oil and gas, you haven't been out in the field. You just got through the hardest time, and you were so bored. You had to get out, right? So we were thinking about just putting a networking event together, and in truth, that's what this is. This is a networking event that raises money for homeless teens, which has been evolved over the years from Mimi's House to USI, but homeless teens of Casper and now Wyoming.
Okay.
But it was originally a networking event that we decided, let's get some guys with oil and gas together, and maybe we'll play some cards. Maybe we'll raise $1,000 for some nonprofit. It came to Mimi's House that they were interested. I had just threw out the ideas to a couple businesses in oil and gas, and it was J.R. Boyles with Altitude Energy Partners, which kind of really kicked this off. I said, hey, if you ever wanted to, donate to this, we would love it. And he goes, how much do you think? And I was like, 1,000, maybe 5,000, I don't know, whatever your heart, presses you. And a couple weeks later, he came back and said, he said he would do it. And I said, well, how much do you want to do that? And he goes, well, what do you really want? And I go, 1,000 is nice, but 5,000 would be huge, because then it would pay for the entire event and we can move forward. And so he said yes. And then he got McMurray Foundation. He got Trudy McMurray to help out. And with that, it was born. It became, with $10,000, you have a real event. And
right.
So then I started to get other oil and gas companies in. Brett started to help, and we had some small sponsorships that, we, like I said, we raised $16,000 for the first year. We had 70 people. It was fun. It was low key. But then what really changed it is that people enjoyed it. You have a chance at winning a lot of prizes, right? The average person can go play cards, network, have zero focus on raising cash, more so just enjoying yourself. Like we bring Deadwood or Vegas to Casper for a night, and we raise money through philanthropy, and then we literally give 100% of the proceeds away to whatever nonprofit, which it was Mimi's House the first 2 years, and then it switched to USI last year.
Got it.
And USI again this year.
Got it. Okay. So how's it evolved from your $16,000 event to $100,000? Is it just the size? Is it just more tables? It's a casino night? So
everything has evolved, right? It's what I think is the precedent of it is everything is done as professionally as we can possibly do it. Each year we look at different factors that had maybe failed or there was opportunities for growth. Because it's hard, right? You don't know what you don't know until you go through it, and it's trial by fire every year. And every year we're adding something to make it bigger and better, right? So the first year it was just to see if it was feasible, and we raised $16,000, which was a huge, for first year, not knowing anything, just winging it. It was a great year. So the second year, we came back with the same idea in mind, but maybe to smooth out some things. Like a lot of people don't know when you're at the event, the real currency is the tickets, right? Because everything is given away. Mm-hmm. Minus a couple of the silent auctions, which we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. Everything is a giveaway, and that was purposeful because I didn't want the most money in the room to always win stuff. I wanted everybody to have a chance, which means that you're really truly interactive with it all.
Okay. So walk us through the whole event. So we're gonna get our tickets online. Have tickets. Mm-hmm. It's a ticketed event. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to go and play games all night, play casino-type games all night?
Kind of. That's the fun part about this,
okay.
right? You get to do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. There is no focus on anything. So mm-hmm. if you want to just go there and enjoy and have food and not touch a single game, you don't have to. You get to do whatever you want. And that's the freedom of it that makes it so powerful, because you're not constantly pressed for money mm-hmm. as an attendee. So the attendants are all... There was a lot of oil and gas, and it's kind of shifted a little bit into more of just the Casper community mm-hmm. As this event has grown, and the reasons why, and we create awareness for the homeless teens issue. But so if you buy a sponsorship, you get a write-off because it's all through USI. All of the money goes through a nonprofit, so everything is 501c3, and it's perfectly oriented with that. So it's a good write-off for businesses. Then you get the marketing, and you get tickets right to the event. So mm-hmm. if you buy a table, which is $2,500 this year, which we have already sold out, mm-hmm. You get 8 seats there, and you also get whatever amount of money that you donated in chips. Plus you get extra tickets. You get all of the things, right? But then as a regular ticket holder, you also get cash. So that cash can either be put into chips, so you can actually kind of go and play your casino games and have fun and try to make more with it. That's the ultimate goal. Mm-hmm. Or you can just turn it in and trade it in for tickets, which those tickets go into small, medium, and large packages, right? And so the small gifts are minimum $200 to $250, and we give away $20,000 to $25,000 this year, I think, worth of prizes. Golf clubs. I think
of the golf carts.
Well, that'll be the grand prize.
Okay.
So the grand prize is a golf cart. Mm-hmm. Thanks for ruining that. No, but that's the grand prize, right? So $100 a ticket, or you can trade in $100 worth of chips for a ticket, and then you just put your name on it. You don't have to be present to win that, because we had some people offline buy some tickets too. Then we have the medium prizes, which you also don't need to be present to win. You put your name on those, and those are anywhere from $1,000 to $2,500, ranging from, Ace jumped in and was able to donate some, like a really nice Weber grill, or they also have the pizza oven. This is a $2,000 amazing pizza oven, right? Mm-hmm. That's $2,000. Or we have another company, Bach and Supply, David Mendez. He donated a prize, which a brand new set of golf clubs and a woman's bag, $600 bag and 5 hours of lessons, right? An amazing $2,500. We have, huge cabins in Colorado for 4 nights, and a $250 gas card to get down there. So it shouldn't, and we can sit up to 16 people in there,
right?
So the prizes array from everything.
So it's just a fun night where we can play casino games if we want to, enter into these raffles, these drawings, mm-hmm. all for an amazing cause,
right?
To alleviate homelessness in our youth here in Casper.
Alleviate would be a heck of a goal.
At the core of this event, it's a fun night and just have fun with friends, with the community. It's also a networking event. So mm-hmm. primarily it's oil and gas, but you mentioned it's also opening up to other people in yep. Casper.
So United Way, in conjunction with John Miracle, came in with an amazing $25,000 sponsorship, and other companies like Sunny's RV gave $10,000. Altitude Energy Partners gave $2,000 or $10,000. AVI $5,000. There's a lot of companies throughout that have really kind of stepped up, and our sponsor list is, I think we're over 30 sponsors just in the larger gifts, and then we have individual tickets that are coming out as well. So a lot of amazing philanthropy. Like this community, it's amazing how giving this community is.
So it sounds like even if you're not into casino type games, this is still an event where they can have fun and network with other people.
Yeah, and that's the true aspect about this. Like, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Social Network. I say this often. Forgive me. I say this often because there's a part in it where the guy's playing Mark Zuckerberg, and he says, the guy's like his accountant or his money guy is saying, we need to get advertisement. And he said, no. And he's like, why not? And he goes, because we have something cool. And we don't even know what it is yet. Mm-hmm. So that's the great part about this, is this has naturally, organically evolved into what it is based upon what people enjoy, what was weaknesses, what were strengths, and there's a lot of changes. Like last year, in 3 years, we outgrew the ribbon shop. It was separated. It created real disconnect within, like, there was food, and the timing on that really hindered because there were so many people in such a small area. They're just different caveats, right? So we're getting rid of the food. We'll still have food, but it's a buffet style, So
who's catering it?
We're actually having some guys. So 5150, the range is catering, and then we also have some guys with Summit, Drew Ballou, and David Mendez with Bakken Supply are both, coming up with 300 people with brisket and pulled pork.
All right.
So we have some real main dishes, and then 5150 is coming in with a bunch of the sides, and then they're also doing bars. We also have the Copper Cup Coffee Company, which you know David. They're creating their own coffee bar, so we're going to have a coffee bar there that's going to support those guys, and they really wanted to give back, and the greatest part about this event is we get to give back to them. Mm-hmm. That's another caveat that a lot of nonprofits don't think about when they're creating an event, is they're asking for 100%. That's a failure, because you need to give back to these people that are constantly being asked over and over. So if you're able to take $10,000 and make it $20,000, right? Because I can buy something 50% off, but the retail value is still above that. We're able to not only give to them, so they're not just forking everything out, but then they become a sponsor, and then we get to give back to our community, and they get to give to us as well.
That's great.
So that partnership is truly what creates this even bigger ability for them to give. Mm-hmm. So many people reach their maxes, and this is March, right? And people are like, man, we've already gave our total. What if I pay for it? And you just give me a discount, and you get rid of old inventory, but we also get to give somebody a prize that they would want.
Mm-hmm. That's a great concept, and you're absolutely right that a lot of businesses they're milked. A lot of them are treated like cows, and they're drained. But if we have an event like this, I think it's a great concept. In order to let's purchase their supplies or purchase their product at a discount, give them the recognition, having their name in different places, things like that. So it's not a total loss for them, but they're getting the recognition as being a part of the event as well. So right. It's a win-win, absolutely.
And I want to talk about them, right? Wyoming Fly Fishing, like Ryan and Liz Anderson, they have given every year. They've been an amazing sponsorship, but we've started to give them money and saying, hey, put us together a really cool package, and they get to give away a really large package of like a fishing trip with a fishing rod. I mean, last year that's what they gave. They gave a $500 or $600 fly fishing rod and reel. They gave waders. They gave a fly fishing net, and then also a fly fishing trip and a float, for the river. I don't even know what they're called.
A floating device.
Yeah, right. A tube, the floating for the river, where you can just do that and you can go down the river, right? Mm-hmm. But Wyoming Fly Fishing has done that. 42 North did that this year with some skis, and then they also gave back, right? Mustard Seed has done it. Lou Talbert's is doing it. Mm-hmm. You could just small business after small business throughout this community just is so much more willing to give if you're willing to help them through it. And then everybody wins because they get some major recognition as well.
So you talked about going from 16,000 to 98 with that last year. Do you have any projections on this year? What's going to look like?
No, honestly, like we sold out our tables, and that was big because that's those are larger gifts at one point in time. Where now we're just selling the tickets, and it's kind of a bonus, right? But we have a lot of, one of them, J.R. Boyles with 51, with the range at 5150, he donated some amazing bottles. So Azure Platinum is a $2,500 bottle of tequila, $2,500 bottle of tequila.
Right.
He gave Dom Perignon, he gave a Boss X Whiskey Pig, 20-year, like amazing bottles. So we're going to have 4 of those. And then you're also going to get a chance to win like a gun, a Scotty Cameron putter, 4 tickets to Cheyenne Frontier Days, or a Hellcat pistol, right? So that's one that's an extra on top of this. So a silent auction, you get a chance to win 1 of 3 tickets, and then one's going to be raffled off. So win there, you win that prize, you automatically win at least $3,000 worth of something.
So these aren't your entry level prizes. This is an event to remember and then think about what's going to happen next year in 2025 and beyond, because people are going to be dreaming about this, because it's not your run of the mill sponsorship fundraiser. Let's raise some money for a homeless situation or a typical nonprofit. This is an incredible vision on the back end, but it's something that the people won't forget on the front end.
They're always taken care of. The consumer is always taken care of. So everybody at that event we start giving away those smaller prizes at 7:30, and we don't stop until 10:30. Every 5 minutes we give away a $200 to $400 prize for 3 hours. And that's how many prizes there are in just that. That's not touching the medium prizes, the large prizes, the main giveaways, the silent auction. You have anywhere you look, you have a chance to win something that you're absolutely going to love.
So where can we get tickets to the event, first of all?
So you can go on to helpingyouthyo.com. That's our website, and you can just buy tickets there. You can sponsor it. Your company could sponsor it. $500 gets you 4 tickets, and you get a sponsorship level, and you get money for the event. Just goes up from there.
So you're not obviously relying solely on ticket sales. That's just one aspect, one avenue, revenue stream of this event. But there are other silent auctions as well. So talk to me about those auctions.
So the silent auction is only artists, and this is the greatest part. Like as a photographer and an artist in town, and I don't even know if I'd call myself an artist. I'll say that I'm a hobbyist.
Okay.
But that's something that gets overlooked. Artistry is a really hard world to be a part of, especially if it's your full-time gig, right? Rachel at T-Hawk Studios is one of them, and she's been an amazing ambassador this year for us. She's helped us get some amazing artists, but even more so, we have a special artist that's coming in this year that means a lot. If you're part of this community, you know this name. So talking about Rachel first, what's amazing about her art is she makes jewelry, wearable jewelry, that she states that every time she makes something personal, she wants you to be able to wear it to the Met Gala. The finest of the fine, right? And to have that kind of artistry here, you think about it and you're like, that's easy. But her quality of metalwork, if you've ever seen how truly precise and beautiful the finishes are on this work, and then imagine trying to do it, right? We can see it and we be like, man, that's a pretty piece. But then imagine trying to actually build it, right, and then with such precision. So she's making a hat with a hat band this year, and it's gorgeous. And her work is just amazing, right? She's one of these artists, and so you're going to they're all originals minus a couple photographers. One of them is from Hawaii. He was in National Geographic. We have a couple of his prints that are here. He loved the idea. You have some of my photography. Then you have local artists, and I don't know all their names off the top besides Rachel. But she helped us find Sean Rivet. Since his passing, the public hasn't seen his work come through, and rightfully so. But I think working with Shane Rivet this year, we're finally going to be able to give Sean an opening to this community again. So this is the first time that some of his stuff is going to be available.
Mm-hmm.
And to say that I'm excited is an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
He got me into photography. He has been a part of Rachel's life. He has touched artistry in a way that nobody else has in this community. And the loss of him was a dagger to the art community in this. And we're hopefully going to revamp that legacy with not only this event, but we have plans to help and to be able to truly honor
That's great.
Sean. Yeah.
Wow. So this is, I mean, we throw the word around like this is a next level event, but there isn't one thing that you've said about this event that's just your run-of-the-mill average fundraiser. This is a next level event in terms of, you know, the focus on the networking side, the food that's available, the sponsorships, and how you even take care of sponsors. It's just it's definitely next level. It's thinking out of the box. That's for sure. And I think there's a lot of wonderful ideas. I think I'd want to be a sponsor in one of these events. And these auctions, these silent auctions, and putting the emphasis on art as well. I think it's an not untapped, but it's a community here in Casper that needs a lot more recognition as well. So that's wonderful.
You're not going to get another chance. These are all originals. So every one of the artists, if they're doing something, it's an original. Original watercolor by Jamie Marvel, right? She's an amazing watercolor. Bill Bowman is, I mean, he's diversified. He does, pencils, and he does all of that. But all of these are going to be originals that you're not going to be able to get. You can't just walk up to these people and say, "I want to buy." I mean, you can, I guess, but it's going to be hard. But to get them all in one place and to be able to actually bid on it, like Sean Rivet's stuff, you haven't been able to find, and you get an opportunity, and it's so rare. But you're right. Everything is professional because everybody has a chance to win. And
great.
That's what the focus is on, everybody winning. And then in the end, we're coming together for a cause.
Right. And let's talk about that. Why are you doing this, Jeff? What's behind it? Because it sounds like a lot of work, first of all, and everyone is, people that know you're someone that's full of energy and full of just talents. So why did you choose this event? Why are you doing this?
It wasn't chosen. Like it was put upon me, I believe. I'm a Christian at heart, and I really do believe that this was kind of serendipitous that I was supposed to do this, because it's just grown organically, and I couldn't even get in its way. Last year I didn't even know if I wanted to do the event, right? Talked to Brett, and I was like, man, I don't even know if I have time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. He said, well, just pray about it and see. And so we did. The next day I was like, God just said, hey, call this guy. So I called, the director at USI at the time, and Austin, and I said, I was thinking about doing this event. I don't know. And he goes, you won't believe this. And I'm like, crap. Because he said, literally yesterday we just had a meeting. We want an event. We don't have one. We were thinking about a casino night. We don't know how to do that. We want a venue. We don't know. We don't have one, right? Literally everything lined up the way that it did. And so I don't think I've even had a choice to do it. It's just kind of been put upon me. But it's grown because the kids don't have a choice. These kids weren't given the tools and the parents and the situations and the circumstances that most kids were. And I just want to give them a chance.
So all of the funds are going to help.
100% of all the proceeds go directly to USI. And that's the greatest part about this, is that I don't have any money filtering through me, right? I get nothing out of this. And that's not true. I get so much, right? And let's be honest, right? If you're going to do this, there's got to be some selfishness in there, or somebody's going to question, right? I made it a networking event because I'm building an Edward Jones financial, advisory business. I want people to know what I do, and I need to get out in the community. And I love Edward Jones because it's about the client first, then it's about my family, then it's about the community. And so all three of those in conjunction kind of really help build something beautiful.
Right.
So coming back to the community and these kids, the awareness is what shocked me. I didn't know. And you had talked earlier, and these are numbers from 2020. I don't know if they've changed. I would expect them to do a little bit, but on average, there's 44 teens from 16 to 21, just in Natrona County, that are homeless. And I mean homeless. They are jumping, searching, jumping from couch to couch, like you said, couch surfing. They're jumping from car, their bridge. There was a girl. I think I can be vague about this story, but she was sleeping underneath the bleachers at NC, and she had a foster parent who, when she would go home, she would literally be uppercutted. So she was hiding in a tree, and a lady had found her and said, "Are you okay?" And they sent her back, right? And so she ran away again, and eventually they got her to USI, and USI took her in, and that's history. But the thing is you were able to get her out of the situation at hand where she didn't have control, right? And there's some broken pieces in our society, and we can't get away from that, but we can at least give them one safe haven. And the problem is there's only 8 to 13 kids right now that can be helped,
right,
out of 44.
So there is a real crisis with homeless youth. I think one homeless youth, in my opinion, is a crisis, obviously, because no one should be without a home. We take that often for granted. But just I was made aware a few months back as well of how many homeless teens there are in Casper or Natrona County, and it's shocking because it's one of those issues that you're not aware of it. Your ignorance doesn't, and it doesn't help the situation either. When you find out that there's an issue, you have to do something.
And that's by design from these kids. They want to go unnoticed. They want to fit in. They want to, they don't want to be a homeless kid. They just They want to go to school and be treated exactly like that. But at the same point in time, they're also in a crisis because they don't know where the next meal is going to come from. They don't know where they're staying that night, And to think about real anxiety and all the things that are already on their plates, add that monster, you're not even hitting.
Right. Shame is already an issue in high school anyway, high school, junior high school. Dealing with shame or comparison, peer pressure, all of those things are already real. But to admit to your friends or to your teachers that you can't go home at night, I can't even imagine what that would be like. And there's such an incredible need. And there's some wonderful organizations in town. We have a common friend, Tanya, that works, she's dedicated her life to that in the Natrona County School District. There are wonderful organizations here that are doing something. But I think it goes back to why are you doing this? Why are you doing Monte Carlo Nights? Because there's not enough. We need to bring awareness to this, but also funds need to be raised to make a bigger dent in this problem and not let it go untouched.
I think the fact that I'm doing it is because nobody else will. Somebody's got to. You know what I mean? And so many people pass the buck. Well, everybody's got an excuse, right? No matter what, we all have the same amount of time. We all have the same amount of stuff going on. And there's a lot of sacrifice that went into this. Stuff that I would choose, stuff that I wouldn't. But the reality is that as a Christian, we need to step forward. Look at the world that we're going through right now, right? And there's so much underlying anxiety, fear, anger that, the passive have let this stuff happen and they haven't stood up and they haven't done that. Like, we've gotten into a very comfortable society and comfortable world where we've got to get through that comfort. we've got to press through the harder times, and we've got to be the change. Or otherwise we're leaving something that's horrific, right? And out of those 44 kids, we can only house 13, but at least we're housing 13. Right. Last year, a majority of our money went to their deed and their loan on their home that's in Mills. And, this year we're going to be giving this money so that they can buy a car. So now they can start to drive and they can get these kids around everywhere because that's where they need to. There's a lot of things going on in these kids' lives, so they need a vehicle. So hopefully we'll team up with a different automotive company and we'll be able to do that. They've already worked with a lot of people in Cheyenne and Laramie. Hopefully we'll be able to get them there. But the truth is the reason why I'm doing it is because somebody's got to. And I'm not going to pass the buck on to you, and I'm not going to guilt you, and I'm not going to shame you. And I mean, everybody, you have your choice. You can either come to the event and give, and you can be a part of it, or you can start your own, and we'll help you, right? But the reality is that you just got to be able to act somewhere.
Right, something has to be done for sure. We can't turn a blind eye to the situation. That's for sure. That's for sure. There are stories of other towns across the U.S. where different groups of people realize there's an issue, and let's take them in. Let's open our doors. Let's not allow one homeless person to be homeless. We throw the word around safe places. In modern media. Having a safe place, but I can't imagine what's more of a safe place than a home. And if you don't have a home, I mean, our memories of growing up as a child, that was our safe place, being home with our family. If you don't have that, what do you have? And so if we can be a part of the solution, I think we have to be part of the solution. Absolutely. Yeah.
And you look around, the Rotary clubs, there's so many different clubs that are doing stuff, and I love it. Yeah. So I'm not saying that our community doesn't do anything or anybody doesn't do anything.
Agreed.
I'm just saying there's different levels of being able to take action, Just join us. That's all that we ask. Yeah. Somewhere.
So where do you see the future of this thing? Where is it going? Do you see doing these nights once a year for the next several years? What's in your mind, in your heart?
The truth is it's really hard being a financial advisor with rules and caveats with the SEC. I've got to walk such a distance between any kind of fiscal situation and my job. So that we can keep that separation. And the truth is that I need to eventually hand this off. So the goal is to be able to get somebody else to run this event, a nonprofit, or maybe we've been in discussions about starting a nonprofit called Helping Youth, which is just going to be an event situation that's going to help kids across the community. Right? And whether or not that's creating their own home or, there's a lot of ideas of what this really could be. And the truth is this could be monstrous. Because my real goal is a grand idea. And I mean big, right? My real goal would be able to create a traveling event that goes around the nation. So you're not just once a year, you're once a week in a different location that's once a year in that location, right? So you start to build that same brand awareness that we have here with the Monte Carlo everywhere else, but we don't do a Monte Carlo night there, right? We need to do something that's going to draw people in, and if this idea works, it's something that I think everybody's comfortable with. So tell me what feeling you think about or where your mind goes when I say the price is right.
Fun, exciting game show. Yeah.
A lot of our youth, a lot of those days where maybe you have a sick day or something like that, and it's 10 o'clock and you're like, you put this on because why not?
Yeah. Several years ago, by the way.
Yeah, right?
I've had one of those days in a long time.
Right. I understand that. But there's a lot of people who enjoy that game, right? That world. So what we've really been trying to throw out the idea and trying to figure out how to get the logistics to make it work is a traveling game event. So we bring your childhood games that you grew up watching, and we bring them to your local community around the nation. So Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, other games that are in there, you know what I mean? A large Plinko. Like, people love these games, and we think that if we were able to build life-size versions of it where people can win big prizes, but this travels around everywhere, that we would be able to help local charities wherever you're going, and we'd also be able to bring it back to helping youth, which would then be able to be spread around, Wyoming, to all the nonprofits for any kind of youth organization. And so it's a grand idea, and it's going to take a lot of people, but truly the scope of what that could be is bigger than anything that I don't even think I could imagine what that could be, because you could build more, right? It doesn't just stop with one set of trucks that are going around. If you build it, it could be 2 or 3, because there's a lot of Caspers, 50,000 people that show up. Look at the chili cook-off. How many people show up every year to that? You give them that kind of a show, and
absolutely. No, for sure. And the track record already for the past 4 years you've gone from success to success. So yeah, you're absolutely right. How big could it go, especially for such an amazing cause, and then excellent networking abilities and out of the box concepts. I think that there's definitely a future in something like this to make it larger and take it further beyond Casper. So I think it's great. What's your message to people that would like to sponsor this event or attend the event? What would you like to tell people in Casper about Monte Carlo Nights?
Just come.
Yeah.
You have to be there to know what it really is. I can't explain this event because it's something that you have to be a part of to understand.
It's an experience.
The freedom, the ability to get to some of this art that you'll never see. I mean, you're just not going to see this stuff again, especially if they're originals. You're never going to get another chance at it again, right? But to enjoy the community, the people in the community, and be able to give back to a cause that's in dire need. I mean, you said this before. You said the number hundreds, right? And the truth is when we're talking about 16 to 21, there's there's 44. When you go down, Tanya said that the numbers are 300 kids in age that need help in this community.
And what about the ones that don't want to talk? Those are the statistics that we know, and then we can speculate about. But what about all the ones that don't want to share? I mean, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg when we know about the 44.
When you think about it, and the worst part about it is we haven't even talked about the horrific natures of these. Where 80% of these homeless kids have probably been physically abused. And we're really high numbers on those ones that have been sexually abused on top of it. I mean, the mental anguish that these kids have gone through, and why? Because of circumstance. Like, as a community, we need to create a safe environment where these kids can go. And it's only going to happen by showing up and being a part of it.
Absolutely. Well, when is it? When is the
April
event?
25th from 5 to 10:30. Doors open at 5. We're going to start poker, I think, at 6 or 6:30. I think 6. Have a little break in the middle where we're going to talk about everything, introduce everybody, give some awards away, and then finish out about 9, shut the tables down, and then start giving away all the prizes. It takes a lot giving away $60,000 in prizes,
Right.
But somebody's going to drive away with a little golf cart and a lot of prizes, and I think it'll be a great, great night.
So one more time, what's the website where we can get tickets and information?
helpingyouthyo.com.
Okay, we'll put it on the screen. So
I love it.
Jeff, thank you for joining us. Thank you very much, and thank you for our listeners that are watching this new podcast. Please like and subscribe, but most of all, share this so that Helping Youth and what they're doing with the Monte Carlo Nights can reach even one more person or 2 more people, and then they can get involved. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.